Huh. There's a lot less stuff here than before.
It's good to see you all here in one piece. I know you must have a lot of questions, but let Koichi check you over first. It's best not to let any lingering effects of the Abyss—
Thank goodness you made it back. I came here as soon as the Pyro Archon told me about your plan. Take a seat, everybody. I'll examine you one by one. All right, that should do it for now. But just to be safe, I'll perform another checkup in a couple of days. I have to say, though, I've never seen anyone react to the Abyss like you, Traveler. It's like—
She's always been special like that. She can even purify its power.
Given the current situation, that ability will likely play a great role.
Of course. I still have patience to see, so I'll—
Thank you, Koichi.
All right, all right. We might not see eye to eye, just give it time. I'm sure we'll figure things out between us.
Yeah.
All right. There's so much to discuss, I don't even know where to begin. I'll get straight to the point. Natlan is on the verge of destruction. It's very possible our nation has less—
Huh? No.
That's right. But I've only ever disclosed that fact to the handful of people working with me to save this nation. Our looming destruction is not a recent development, but the inevitable conclusion of the disaster the Abyss initiated 500
Mualani told us a little bit about that.
500 years ago. All the nations of Teyvat were invaded by— Unlike the other nations, Natlan never had stable and deep-rooted ley lines, so we suffered the worst of the invasion. The battle against the Abyss was exceedingly long and brutal. In the end, victory came at the cost of our civilization and countless lives. Even then, it took centuries of solving the disasters caused by the Abyss to finally achieve the peace we know today. And still, this is but a superficial victory. The forces of the Abyss have merely been driven back underground. Their threat to Natlan remains as real as ever.
I'd never have guessed.
The problems plaguing the Night Kingdom are all the more complicated because that realm is essentially functioning as Natlan's ley lines. Immediately after the war, our calculations estimated that we would have a maximum of 500 years before the Night Kingdom was completely lost to the Abyss. But at that time, we were a nation of the destitute. Our people no longer believed in victory, nor did they hold hope for the future. Our civilization was dying, our faith crumbling, and the line of power passed down from the Wyab nearly severed. If we didn't bring the nation back together, it would be foolish to even dream of defeating the Abyss in the future. So, the Archon had a long and involved discussion with the heroes of each tribe, and finally came up with a 500-year-long plan to save Natlan.
So that's what happened. After finding Kachina, I encountered a strange figure who gave me a series of new memories. Since the plan was mentioned in those memories, I guess I've been chosen to play an important role in it. But there's still something I don't understand. Those memories showed me the Pyro Archon from back then. And it was you. Huh? But that doesn't make any sense! The Pyro Archon is supposed to be human. It's impossible for a human to live that long.
That's right. The hardest thing for humans to overcome has always been time. Or rather, the natural limitations of our lifespan. A god can extend a human's life by using a certain amount of divine power, or subjecting them to a curse. But, as we all know, Natlan doesn't have gods like that. We can only rely on our own methods. A human life is like a flame destined to be extinguished. 500 years ago, I placed my life within the sacred flame. Only by dying before my time could I have the chance to wake up again.
So, in other words, this is your second life?
Yes. We only managed to defeat the Abyss all those years ago because the tribes came together as one. If the Natlan of the future was to have a fighting chance, the Pyro Archons that came after the war had to rebuild the decimated tribes. The goal was to reunite the people and restore the strength. Once a tribe was back to its full strength, the tribe's the Chosen would then stand by my side in defense of our nation.
So that means...
That's right. You bear the ancient name Umoja. The same after your adventure in the Night Kingdom. I trust you.
So in other words, you always knew who the Wyab...
Yes. According to the plan, each tribe was supposed to have been fully... The 6 heroes successfully inherited the ancient names from 500 years. Once again, it comes down to the deterioration of the Night Kingdom.
Just like how the Ode of Resurrection failed.
Exactly. It's just another tactic the Abyss is using against us. If we want to unblock that information from being passed on, my presence alone isn't... So, I've tried my best to help them from the sidelines. Currently, Shilonen of the Children of Echoes, Kinich of the Scions of the Canopy, and Iansan of the Collective of Plenty have... During your adventure, you too earned the acknowledgement of your Wyab Mualani. In the process, you gained the memories stored within your name.
But we have less than a year!
Yes, but we have no choice. We cannot start the plan until all the heroes have been gathered. That's also why I haven't been able to take action despite the urgency of the situation.
But if you knew this whole time, why didn't you just tell me about my role in all this? Wouldn't that make everything go a lot faster?
Perhaps, but the opposite could also be true. Knowing your destiny too early could mean failing to realize your full potential. Just like your determination to save Kachina, I hope your commitment to this endeavor comes from your own strength of will, rather than a sense of obligation.
So I suppose you're not going to tell us who the final 2 heroes are then?
That's right. Their time is yet to come. Putting pressure on them beforehand will only hinder their development. I can only trust in the judgment of the Wyab. I have never believed I could solve this crisis alone. In fact, it was precisely because I chose to trust and rely on others that we managed to get this far. Natlan's salvation lies not in its Archon or any singular individual, but in us all. You're quite perceptive, aren't you? I thought I might get away with avoiding the topic.
Huh? Oh, right!
All the stuff you stored here before, where did it all go?
Even though I sacrificed my power, I still needed a contingency plan to ensure you would make it back from the Night Kingdom. After all, I was the one who allowed you to take that risk, and Mualani has an important role to play in my plan. In addition to their sentimental value, the items I stored here held a much more important purpose: fuel.
Fuel? So back then, that's why you...
Yes. The stories embodied by those items are certainly important, but there's an even more significant trait they all share. Every item belonged to a hero of Natlan. Over time, they became imbued with a certain amount of contending fire from being carried in battle. On their own, each item's power is limited, but together, their combined effect can prove quite useful in a dire situation. By burning those items, I was able to activate the contending fire stored within them to open the boundary between the two worlds. It was a rather crude approach, so all their power was depleted in an instant, as you can see.
But weren't they all precious treasures? What about their stories?
That's exactly why I dragged you all here.
You have nothing to be and then, besides, if they knew those items helped
Even when you...
the people and the events of the past, if you still have regrets, your deeds will become new.
Well, we'd still like to...
Now that Kachi and we could all use the rest. Try not to let it get... All right.
When I was young, I used to sit by the... They attract people from all walks of life. The people of the springs have never claimed the hot springs as their own private... It's been really nice, seeing the children of my tribe get older. It's helped me gradually understand. I've witnessed their energy, their determination, their... even when they cause trouble, I never managed to hold on to my anger for long. I'm certain Mualani will become a great warrior when she grows up. She possesses One day, when I'm no longer in fighting form, I'll come here and tell stories to all the children. So, you better get busy, Pyro Archon, or I'll end up running out of stories.
Our nation is engulfed in darkness. Our tribes stand. The Abyss is a cunning enemy. One that I faced in my rage will never know absolution. But you came to me because you knew you could I understand your choice. The heroes of today will forge the path ahead with blood and fire. Just remember to earn us the victory. Otherwise, rest assured, I'll find a way to collect the debt. For Natlan.
So, you're gonna head 500 years in the future to serve as the Pyro Archon again? But what about the you from right now? You're just gonna die?
You can't ask her those questions and expect her to answer, my dear. The
decision is hers to make, and she deserves our support. We will do everything we can to rebuild the tribes. Don't you worry. Even across time.
Yeah, Mom's right. We'll always believe in you, sis. Oh, seriously though, Dad should be here. Where is he?
I imagine he didn't know what to say, so he chose not to come at all. Don't take it to heart, my dear. Just remember, no matter what happens in the future, we will always love you.
I'll come find you one day. I know I can't live that long, but I'll think of something. There has to be a way for us to meet again one day. If there's an answer out there somewhere, I'm gonna find it. So, don't forget about me.
If that's your decision, then you have my full support, Archon.
May our children live to see such a lovely son.
For Natlan!
No one fights alone. The rules are my legacy. They shall grant us the strength.
War forged the 6 tribes, taught us how to fight.
Who will be the one to bring this to...
We are the inheritors of those who grew alongside sun and wind, those who forged our own destiny and That is Natlan's fire, the lifeblood of our nation.